everybody. Welcome back to Feedback Loop. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Joey.
And this fortnight, we have established a winner. Well, okay, so we haven't established yet, I suppose. We have each come to our own conclusion on who won the previous genre battle, as it were. We both found some deep goth post punk, allegedly, entries into I don't know what I'm saying. We've found bands in that genre.
Yeah.
And then we both listened to each other's bands that they found, and I think Joey wins.
What?
Well, so
okay. I'll let
the
you.
album that I put forth didn't it was by Theoretical Girl is the band name. The album was called Divided. It didn't really it did fit, but to me the goth part of it, the deep goth of it, was more in like lyrical context than in musical stylings, and so because of that I think that the post-ironic state that you submitted, their songs they're great, and I feel like they were exactly what I would expect going into deep goth post-punk. So I think post-ironic state is more accurately represented or representative of the deep goth post-punk scene. Do you have a different take?
So I agree with your take that technically the post-ironic state, I feel, matched the goth aspect better.
Yeah.
As far as post-punk, I guess that's really up to interpretation,
right?
For whoever's. Yeah, that's a very vague. Especially in the deep part, I don't know.
Yeah. What is deep goth versus goth? You know,
does it just mean it's really like lyrically dense? I don't know what that means. But I will say, I think overall, I liked the variety that Theoretical Girl had more personally.
Yeah.
Had you not started with talking about how post-ironic state was like, I guess, fit the goth category more,
right,
I would have I had chosen Theoretical Girl as my like pick, but I'll agree that deep post-ironic state like wins based off of solely the fact that it fits into the goth category more.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So there it is. Joey wins week 1. Insert sound cue here of your choice. I'm talking to you, the audience, not me in the future as an editor. I'm not going to put anything in, so just pretend that there's some sound effect there, as if trumpets were blaring, perhaps something victorious and triumphant. There you go. Joey wins the deep goth post-punk trophy that doesn't exist.
I am going to say this. I have a side note.
Sure.
So I listened to a decent amount of Theoretical Girl. Like, I also listened to a bunch of songs that she has. She does a bunch of covers on her SoundCloud.
Oh, yeah?
And she had a cover of High and Dry that I really liked, which was cool. High and Dry being the song by Radiohead, for you people who don't know.
Yeah.
But, so your other band, Spider and the Flies.
Yeah.
I listened to their album Something Clockwork This Way Comes. I guess going by like our ideals of what fit into the goth category, maybe they also didn't.
Right.
But I fucking love that album.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really entertaining.
So good.
I enjoyed it.
It's like dark noise, electronic beat, but it's. I was listening to that and just like zoning. Like I really want to just like get into an intense gaming session or like something where I need deep focus and just like be jamming to that album.
Yeah, it's a fun one as well. Check out all of our recommendations. See the last episode of Feedback Loop to get all of those in their entirety. I guess we've said most of them. There are a couple of singles that you also mentioned on the episode that I don't have handy, but they're all worth listening to.
Yeah, they're in our chat. So, and I don't have
Yeah.
Discord open, so.
Yeah, I mean, I do, but I'm not gonna bother with it. What else have you been listening to this fortnight, Joseph?
Oh my god, I actually found something new.
Did you?
And
So did I.
yeah, it's so the thing that I found new is a band called Whytide, like WHYTIDE, all one word, lowercase, because stylized sad boy, whatever.
Sure.
Um, and it's nothing like groundbreaking, but it was just like a fun little. I'd consider it like whatever that new like sad boy pop punk emo type stuff is, because that's apparently what I'm becoming now in my life. I'm just becoming like a 17-year-old skinny guy who smokes cigarettes and wears oversized shirts and bleached his hair. That's
Is
me
that the
now.
aesthetic?
Yeah, that's the aesthetic that I am. But they just have this
Typically,
really
Joey
like,
is none of those things.
yeah, I'm not that.
Physically, he is not the physical embodiment of what he just described.
And I don't think I ever have been. I
Yeah,
really like
you've
I
never
can't
bleached
think
your
of
hair that I'm aware of.
I dyed it green one time for a football game whenever I was like 12, but other
With
than
like
that,
like overnight washout kind of green, or was it like the full deal?
no, I literally just took like green hairspray paint and
Right.
just
Yeah.
and it didn't work because my hair is like a dark brown.
Right.
So
You got to
it was
bleach your hair first.
yeah, it was still just dark brown, but with like a mild green tint to it. So
Yeah, I think I did that as well as a kid with some like hair makeup stuff and just spray it in there. But that's cool. The new shit that I found, kind of in a similar vein to what you described. Obviously, I haven't listened to White Tide, but I actually sent you the band name in Discord this week because I just found them this week. The band's called Sweet Pill. The album that I listened to is called Where the Heart Is, which just came out this year, and it's kind of this. It's kind of math rocky, but also like pop punk kind of stylings in it, and kind of some emo vibes. And parts of it reminded me of like Beach Bunny. Parts of it reminded me of Paramore, which obviously I'm gonna fall in love with. But it was just cool. It was a cool blend of like modernizing a lot of the stuff that I think Paramore's older stuff did well. So that was a fun discovery. Also, a band called Always. I think it
all
might be pronounced Always,
but is
but
it two
it's
V's?
two V's instead of a W. I listened to them like this is totally something Joey would be into, and it seems like you've listened to them.
I haven't listened to them in any like great capacity, but like Spotify does their Discover Weeklies or whatever,
Right.
and it seems like one of their songs always makes it onto my lists. So
Yeah, they have a new album coming out. I listened to one single from it because it was a YouTube thumbnail. It was all pixelated, and I wanted to click on it. The song's called "Very Online Guy," and I listened to that, and I was like, "This is Joey music." It's not bad.
okay.
I don't dislike it when I say that. Normally, when I say this is Joey music, at least historically, that means that I
Yeah.
don't like it. But I'm into it. Their new album comes out actually next week, so that'll be in my future to dos, I believe.
Well,
Wait,
sweet.
next week? It comes out tomorrow. What am I talking about? I think it's
Whoa.
October 7th.
Well,
So
that
spoilers, we're recording this on October 6th. But so yeah, that'll be in the next episode. We'll be talking. I'll maybe give a mention of Always, unless I don't actually listen to it, because I'm already behind on music that I've was looking forward to and just haven't set aside
yeah,
time to listen to it.
I'm the same way. I have not listened to the Kid Cudi album that came out with his show with season 1. I
Yeah.
haven't. I just haven't listened to it yet. I've been too busy fucking deep gothin' and listening to Y Tide and everything.
Yeah, I did give
But
it a listen. I did
the
listen to
the album,
Intergalactic.
okay.
Yeah, Kid Cudi's Intergalactic. But it was on as background noise, so I wasn't really like paying attention. I was doing something else. I was probably talking to Adam or someone else while listening to it. So it wasn't like an experience that I remember specifically as like, oh yeah, I enjoyed it. Oh yeah, I did. It was good background noise. The same was for the new Slipknot album that came out last weekend. Um, I did not have high expectations for it, just because of Corey Taylor's recent track
Yeah.
record. I mean, it's not been great, um, but I think again I had it on as background noise. I wasn't really paying attention to it, but I was getting some like point 0.5 vibes. So there is some promise there. I do plan
Yeah.
on listening to the new Slipknot album at some point, maybe in the next fortnight. We'll see.
And Jeremy, just for future reference, put some respect on the name. It's not Corey Taylor. It's Corey motherfucking Taylor.
We can't. He's gonna have us killed if he
He's gonna
finds this podcast.
he's gonna sue you. That's what he'll
No,
do.
no disrespect intended for Corey Taylor. I think he's a great vocalist. I think he's just doing some weird shit that I don't vibe with recently.
Yeah. But he's made some, at least been a part of making some great music. I mean, we did an episode on the Gray Chapter. Was it? Yeah, the Gray Chapters.
Yeah, 0.5, the Gray Chapter is the name of the album.
Which was a great album.
I really love that album. I like a lot of Slipknot stuff. And I like some Stone Sour stuff as well. But CMFT, not for me.
That should be their slogan.
I don't think it's a good slogan. What else have you been listening to in the past couple weeks?
So I went back, and Horse Jumper of Love, who we also did an episode on, their self-titled album, they came out with a new album. I think it was actually back in either June or July that I
think you
slept
mentioned
on.
it.
Yeah, I listened to it I think twice, and just kind of, I wasn't vibing with it really, which I had listened to a few of the singles beforehand, and I feel like I remember saying that I wasn't feeling it, but I was still holding out hope that in the greater context of the album,
Right.
I would come to like them. Didn't really happen. But then I watched a live stream acoustic thing of their frontman playing a few of the songs and some of their older songs from the album that we talked about. And I liked it. I liked the whole show. I liked all the songs that were on there. So I was like, I'll give it another shot. And I liked it more this time than I previously did, but it still is just very like meh to me.
Yeah.
So I think
On
I'll
that
just
note,
have to, yeah.
Have you given the new Beach Bunny album another listen? I know you were also kind of lukewarm on that when it came out.
That one, I was kind of expecting, as I listened to it more, to like it more. And I've listened to it, I think, 3 times since we really talked about it. And that has happened. I'm not at the state where I like it as much as Honeymoon or as Prom Queen, but maybe it'll get there. I think seeing them live also helps, because then every new time that I listen to it, I can kind of think back to them.
Right, it was a good
playing
experience.
Yeah, like it's just, which it's happened with a ton of bands where you just like, there was this one band, what were they even called? Like the Postal? No, it wasn't the Postal Service. They're like good, but I can't.
Throwing shade on whatever band you can't even remember now.
It's like the Post or something. It's like some Canadian band. I really liked them live, and then I listened to them, but it had the opposite effect because I liked the show, and I listened to the album a few times, and I was like, this is good, and then I kept listening to it more, and I was like, I think I just liked their live sound.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, I think, especially with
Pass. The Pass is the name of the band. The Pass.
Check out The Pass. Give them some love, but only if it's live, apparently.
Yeah.
I think that happens a lot with like opening bands with me, is that like bands that I haven't heard of, if I'm going to see a concert for someone else and I just incidentally listen to someone else, I'm like, yeah, like they did good. They were a great warm-up act.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I'm like, yeah, like I'm into this, and then I'll go home and I'll listen to it and not really be as into it. Like even for the Beach Bunny show, I saw them twice in the past year. Both times Kai Voss opened for them, and she does that kind of like techno-y electronic stuff, and her vocals are like super drowned out, and you can't really hear what she's saying. Yeah. Live, it sounds great. It's fun to just kind of like vibe to, but the studio stuff, I still can't really listen to it and get into it, just because it's, I don't know. I think it's partially because the vocals are there, but they're not like clear enough to be intelligible for the most part, and the rest of it's just kind of like almost generic sounding, like synth stuff. So I definitely feel that.
Like black metal.
Yeah,
the vocals are just
I haven't
there.
Seen yeah, I guess that's fair enough, but in a different vein, I suppose, in a more boring, unfortunately, way.
Oh shit!
In less boring news, there are a couple other. I guess I've not really been in a pop mood, but I've been my listening history this past fortnight might disagree with that statement, and that I've been re-listening to a lot of stuff. I've been listening to a lot of Meg Myers still because her album really like had an impact on me, and it's good. It's fun to listen to, but I went and listened to Lizzie McAlpine's album that she released this year. She opened up for Dodie when I saw Dodie this year. It's basic YouTube like girl with a guitar kind of music, I suppose. But her album's really good. I was surprised. I don't know why I specifically listened to it. I think one of her songs came on a shuffle mix, or it came on as like an autoplay thing after something, probably after listening to Dodie or something. But I was like, I'm gonna check out that album, and I did, and it's fantastic. It's really good. I like the kind of the tones that they get with her guitar. I'm not sure if how much she's involved in like the production of it, so I don't want to like miscredit her for being absolutely great at
Yeah.
music production or something. But very good songwriting. It's a very like heartfelt album, and very like I don't know. It just fit right. It kind of has those kind of fall vibes to it, so it worked for me. And then two other singles that I've been listening to. Paramore released a new single, so obviously I'm stoked about that.
Yep.
Paramore being back, love me some Hayley Williams, and the new single's kind of a funky, groovy jam, so I'm into that. And then, strangely, this album keeps coming up, and I don't know why, but the Regrets new album that I listened to when it came out, when I was in St. Louis, that I wasn't super fond of, the Nervo did a remix of one of the lead singles from that album called "Barely on My Mind," and that remix is so good. It's so fun to just like it's kind of this like electronic kind of like housey take on this kind of poppy song with the Regrets lyricist and vocalist Lydia. Very fun to listen to. So I've been listening to that quite a bit as well.
Said so that first one, Lizzie McAlpine, is that
Yeah,
the name?
Missy
Okay.
McAlpine. Her album's called
Mhm.
5 Seconds Flat. It's worth listening to if you're wanting some like just like chilled back kind of folksy girl on a guitar kind of fall vibes.
I like me some fall vibes, and I'm really glad they're here
Yeah.
because I,
Yeah, it's fucking hot right now where I'm at, but I can tell that it's gonna be getting colder soon.
it's
I'm
like
ready for
70
it.
here,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
80
love it.
degrees right now. it's
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's very warm and toasty, and there were some like wildfires and shit yesterday. There's always
Oh,
wildfires out here in Washington, apparently.
Jesus.
It's just a fact of life that I have to deal with now. Is just horrible air quality and the haze everywhere every day.
You should
But
just move
that
back here where everything's way better, right?
I'm not going to do that. Not
No.
yet, at the very least. But that's all I've been up to the past couple weeks. You got anything else you've been listening to?
I mean, I've been just kind of revisiting a bunch of old stuff. Like, I've been listening to a lot of Jeff Mangum and Neutral Milk Hotel. Partly because I'm trying to like learn how to play it, and I'm having this
Right.
struggle where it's like I'm never gonna be anywhere close to as good as he is.
Well,
So
I don't know
why
if that's the truth.
why?
You just don't sound like him.
But that's the whole point. He
Well, I guess it depends on how you're trying to look at it. Yeah, I think as an artist, your goal shouldn't be to sound like someone else. You
That's
know,
true.
if you're trying to
That's
cover
true.
someone, the ideal outcome is to do it justice, but not rip it off. You don't want to sound like him. You want to create your own identity, right?
Yeah.
So even in your creative efforts, I mean, obviously, as an amateur musician, right, you kind of want to learn things by the book, and you want to do things the way that they're done when you're learning songs that you enjoy, because you enjoy the song as it is, and you just want to replicate it. So like there is some credit to wanting to sound like the artist there, I suppose, but as a more adventurous, creative aspect of being a musician, I think. And don't worry about it, Joey. Get out of your own head and just sound like you sound.
But I live in my head. That's the only place I ever am.
Yeah, well, it's obviously easier said than done, but I wouldn't beat yourself up for not sounding like Jeff Mangum.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That guy is fucking nuts. And Jesus, he has the lung capacity of like a fucking whale. It's insane. Like,
So practice holding your breath. Draw yourself a nice big tub of water and just try to drown yourself.
well, like, so the song specifically, Garden Head / Leave Me Alone.
I've not listened
There,
to.
there's this one spot where I swear he holds a note for like 25 seconds. It's probably not actually that long, but it
Right.
feels forever. It's enough that I wasn't paying attention for it the first time that I heard the song, but like I heard it and I was just like, when is this gonna end? Like
It's kind of a
he's just
drone at a certain
yeah.
point.
It's like he just keeps going. But no, it's nuts. But outside of that, I haven't really. I mean, I've just been listening to like my normal stuff,
Yeah.
but I do actually have some stuff on the radar. There's a band that plenty of people out there I'm sure have heard of called Built to Spill, but they semi recently came out with a new album, and I want to listen to that. Alyssa
What
has
genre
been
of music is this?
I
Or
I
similar
guess
acts, just so people
I
listening can have some
yeah
sort of touch point.
I feel like a similar act, and I might get a lot of hate for saying this, is
Or
like
you're going
Pavement
to, but I mean,
is
nobody
like
listens,
Pavement.
but
They're kind of
maybe.
like post rock type sound, I guess is how I would best describe them. But
Cool.
which I like a lot of their old albums, and outside of that, Alyssa seems to be, even just today she was sending me recommendations, and she's getting into, I guess, the more like heady electronic ambient beat
Yeah.
type stuff, where it's like really like if you listen to it with headphones on, it feels like it takes you to another dimension, which is
Yeah.
stuff like back in the day I'd try to show it to her and she'd be like, what the fuck is what's wrong with you? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Don't
I mean,
listen to
that's
this.
my reaction to most of your music too. So
But it's like it's music that maybe you would be a little bit into.
right.
It's stuff that's like, I'm gonna butcher this name, but like Autecker, I don't know.
Sure.
It's stuff like that from like back in the day. It's like the more modern version of that stuff. Like, and for all you fans of Autecker out there who are about to fucking blast me for their pronunciation, I'm also talking about their early albums that they've kind of just disowned and don't talk about anymore because it's a style of music that they don't like to make anymore. But
Right.
it's like it's a
That's a
more
very hipster credit thing that you just pulled. No, I don't
I've
listen to
been
the stuff that they like. I listen to the shit that they hate.
well, no, I like all of their music, but I've talked specifically about like their album Incanabula, I think is how you say it. It's a bunch of words that I don't know how to
Yeah,
say,
it's all
but
Latin or something.
yeah, I've talked about like that album specifically, and I've actually had people come and they're like, I also agree that that's a good album, but the band really hates that album
Yeah,
because they don't like their music has moved past that and stuff. And
sure.
I'm just like, oh, okay,
I mean, the
well, I
Weezer's
like
the
it.
same way, right? Weezer, Rivers Cuomo hates Pinkerton. I think he
Well,
despises that album, even though a lot of it has a cult following, essentially.
yeah. I mean, I get it. If you're always changing as an artist, and
Yeah,
I'd look at stuff that I wrote just like in creative writing classes in high school and be like, that's not who I
it's
am.
trash.
Like,
Yeah,
like who is that person? But
yeah, that happens. Coming up though, there are two albums that I am looking forward to listening to within the next fortnight. In addition to all the shit that's already in my backlog and the Always album and maybe some of the other recs like White Tide. Tove Lo's new album comes out next Friday, so obviously stoked for that. It's a good time to be me, I guess.
yeah,
Paramore's releasing new music, Tove Lo's dropping a new album, and Poppy is releasing an
oh
EP
shit,
next week as well. So lots of new Jeremy music coming out in the
hell
next
yeah.
fortnight. So hopefully in the next episode, I'll be super stoked and happy to talk about a lot of Poppy stuff. Poppy the artist and Poppyism, just music in general, the genre,
Actual pop.
actual pop, which Poppy is not anymore. At least she's definitely going for like this kind of like shoegazy, post-rock kind of like vibey kind of music recently, and I think I heard one of the singles from Stagger, and it fits that bill. So I'm interested to see what the EP does, and if the EP is leading up to an album or if it's just kind of its own thing. Either way, I'm cool with it. I'm a fan of Poppy. But let's get into the genre battle for the next fortnight, or I guess the next 2 fortnights. The next month we will be listening to, but specifically the next fortnight we'll be trying to find bands that represent. What genre was pulled from the generator, Joey?
The magic generator that we've decided to use is it pulled Cornwall indie, which I'm assuming is indie music from Cornwall, the place in England or Great Britain, whatever. I don't know. The UK. I don't actually know specifically where it is. I could have just said England. That shit's in like Ireland, and I'm gonna get fucking like reamed online.
Somewhere over the ocean, you know. It's an airplane over the sea, you know.
I mean, I mean, no harm to anybody by misplacing Cornwall. I promise you.
Yeah, but if you live in Cornwall and are offended, let us know. We'd love the company and the comments, because nobody's saying anything. This is the reason Joey and I had to argue about who won the Deep Goth Post Punk, is because nobody commented saying who they thought won. So this is your fault, audience, who doesn't exist, I suppose. Give us some comments. I know there's fuckers listening on SoundCloud. We had like 30-ish listens in the last week, so I know you're listening. Or maybe it's just playing in the background as noise and you're not actually listening, because SoundCloud just kind of like goes and does its own thing. But if you hear me calling you out right now, I guess we don't have a task for you right now because we haven't proposed our new. Come back next week and we're going to talk about what Cornwall indie tracks and bands we find, and then vote. Let us know who you think found gooder Cornwall indie music.
A task. I found a task. I thought of one right now.
Task for the audience. Homework.
If you're listening right now, we don't know shit about Cornwall indie, but if you're listening and you do, comment. That way, as we're going, we can listen to your suggestions, and maybe that will help better inform us as we're on our journey to discover Cornwall indie.
Definitely. And if you are super into Cornwall indie, we'd love to have you on the show. You know, you can join in. We do this all online anyway. Leave us a comment, slip into our DMs, as it were, on your social media platform of choice. I think we're out on everywhere. I don't keep up with social media, but we exist on those platforms. So send us a message, leave us some comments, and talk to us about Cornwall indie music, and tell us why the bands we found are or are not good representations, I suppose. And I guess you still could, if you wanted to argue about our Deep Goth Post Punk picks. The Deep Goth Post Punk picks. It's a mouthful. Then feel free to critique us on that and argue with us on our decision to crown Joey. We need to get a crown. We need to find some sort of trophy just for us. I mean, obviously the listeners won't see whatever it is until we do video, if we ever do video, but it'd be fun just to have something. Yeah. But we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Stay in our feedback loop.
Bye.